Hello and welcome everyone to the Annuity Straight Talk podcast, episode number 96. My name is Bryan Anderson. I'm the founder and creator of AnnuityStraightTalk.com. Everything on the website was written, researched, thought about by me for a long time. And today's a new topic. Like I said, everything comes from you guys. And just the questions going into detail on the different topics, different perspectives, the way people understand them. This one came to me just last week, and I've talked about variable annuities a lot. And so I'm going to share the newsletter on my screen and then follow along. So anybody who can see this will notice the newsletter is a 3-minute read, 700 some words. So I think I explained everything I need to say, and I'd like to go into a little more detail here for anybody else who's specifically interested in the topic. I call it variable annuity nonsense. I've talked to you guys a lot about how I don't sell variable annuities, but I still have given you a lot of information about it. There's a simple guide to variable annuities. I don't dislike them. I just think there's a better way to do things. And then I said, what would you do with an old variable annuity? There's a lot of people that call me. What should I do with this contract? I gave you 3 examples of people who had owned a variable annuity for a long time. 2 of them, I said they should keep it, and only one of them, I think I said, should do something different. So they're not bad products. Just all depends on what you're looking for. It's the most commonly sold type of annuity, variable annuities. Has more to do with the distribution process for financial products than it does the viability of the product itself. Let's not forget that variable annuities were created as a way to shield market investments from taxes. They come with some death benefit that inherently comes with death benefit that protects the inheritance value of a contract from market volatility. So there's a kind of a little benefit for anyone who says, yeah, I'm going to chase top line growth, but I want to make sure my family still inherits all the money, maybe even more if the market does well. But then about, close to 20 years ago, the guaranteed lifetime income riders were added to it. And that's really what got me interested in researching annuities and looking for different ways of doing stuff. I found a lot of different ways to do it. It's not to say if you like a variable annuity, you shouldn't get one. You should if you do. But most of these are sold by the big brokerage firms, the asset managers, broker dealers, and stuff like that. So it allows them to keep management assets on their books. They don't like to see things leave management. I think there's better ways to do it. And so this website's more for those people. But I've had a lot of people call and say, what do you think of this variable annuity? I like to make sure they understand it, and goes back to last week's podcast in the second opinion. If you understand it, you believe it suits your purpose, and you like the guy that's selling it to you, go for it. It's not something that I'm going to represent. I dropped the licenses to do so several years ago, and I don't miss them. So last week I was having my second conversation with a guy he's one of those guys, he's happy to meet with as many people as he can. I like to tell people I compress everything down to make it easy, one-stop shop. I show you full disclosure on how I find the contracts, how I'm shopping the entire market. But that doesn't mean that somebody might have a different opinion than me, and maybe something's not the best. So yeah, he's seeing a lot of stuff and getting a bunch of different recommendations. So I think he met with 2 or 3 before me, and then between our first and second meetings, met with 1 or 2 others. And everybody else they talked to, they were just putting an annuity in front of him. They knew he's going to retire. Oh, yeah, you got to have this. You want guaranteed income? Sure, go buy this. And so I, first and foremost, number 1 meeting, hey, define a goal first. And then it's define the goal, decide whether an annuity is the right fit, then decide which annuity gives you the best when you line up all your benefits. Anyway, so he came back to the second meeting. He said, you know what? We've decided that $5,000 per month in retirement income, boy, that would just be, we'd be happy and comfortable and everything. It would be great. And so I'm not going to go into the specific. And of course, he had told this to a couple of the people who offered an immediate solution. Now, one thing you guys need to know, if it's safe to assume, I know about how much guaranteed income costs. So age of all covered annuitants, that's husband and wife or single annuitant, if it's single. And when you want income to start, right off the top of my head, I can give you a pretty close estimate about how much it's going to cost to reach an income goal, or how much a certain amount of money will provide. When he said $5,000, I knew it was going to be well north of $600,000, depending on when he started. So the longer he defers, the less it's going to cost to hit $5,000 a month. But when he told me somebody showed him something for $467,000, Big red flag popped up. I needed to know more. Okay, how's that possible? Now, that's where kind of my experience comes into play. If we're 20% less than what I know the market to be, if my estimate's that far off, then there's something going on. Either it's a really long deferral period, or maybe it's a BS annuity illustration. This fits in that category. It made sense, though. He told me it was a variable annuity from Nationwide. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, variable annuities, because of the variable nature of the account, directly invested in the stock market, their baseline guarantee is going to be a lot lower than what your highest guaranteed payment is going to be. That's because with fixed annuities or fixed index annuities, the insurance company knows they've got a stable asset base. They can afford to guarantee a more robust income stream. But people like the variable annuities because you have a much better chance of the market enhancing those income payments for all the years of deferral. So there's a lot of potential upside. And I've seen them in the past where people had very good performance inside the variable annuity. So their income base, their income payments just shot up, and they turned out to be very good guaranteed contracts. So it's once I realized the variable annuity, knew this guy was like, he's looking at a projection, not a guarantee. So the contract quote of $57,000 annual income after 4 years of deferral, retire in a couple of years, maybe some deferred comp fits in there, a couple other details of the plan. They were looking at a 4-year run. And this is, again, where a lot of guys will just say, okay, this is what it's going to take. Maybe he doesn't want to wait 4 years. You got to do something a little bit different. Let me explain a little bit more about how projections are created for variable annuities. Because the investment is tied directly to the stock market, variable annuities can legally backdate an illustration for up to 30 years. With index annuities, it's 10. Now they're doing 15. I've seen one company that's doing 18. So they've loosened the restrictions a little bit. For the longest time, index annuities, you could only go back 10 years to test performance. Variable annuities have always been 30 years because they're just dealing with straight up market numbers. And I believe a lot of contracts give an agent the discretion to choose the illustrated time period within those parameters, like within 30 years. That's my assumption. Either way, it projects income based off of the best market returns in history. If we go back 30 years, that's 1994 is the beginning of that, or 93 to 2022, because nobody's using 2023 yet, not till it's over. So for him to hit the 57,000, this contract would have to repeat 4 years in the 90s in order to reach the expected income amount. Now, I looked at it, what those years were. So this illustration started in 1996. So 96, 97, 98, 99, it was 22%, 31%, 20%, 4 years in a row. Now, I burst a lot of bubbles in this business, but I feel it's a lot better to reduce expectations from the beginning than to apologize for poor performance later. If he doesn't repeat the .com run up in the market, then he's not going to get anywhere near that $57,000. But we got to learn about the product too, and we got to do as much research as possible so that I make a recommendation based on fact. My opinion is that it's probably built on some over-optimistic numbers, right? If you had gone 2 or 3 years earlier, you had a 7, 8, or 9 and a 1%, like comparatively smaller, much smaller numbers. If you would have gone back all the way to 94, there was a good year, and then there was an okay year, and then there was a pretty poor year. Not a negative one, but that would have changed the 57,000 dramatically. So Nationwide, good company. I don't love all their products. I've done some business with them. Again, not a knock on the company. I think it's just kind of funny to say the best thing about Nationwide is the Peyton Manning commercials. I'm a big Peyton Manning fan. I like the guy. But no, Nationwide is on your side, right? So on their website, they had all the information, the brochures, the specs, the mutual fund allocations, everything. I was going to show that to you, but it's not even that big a deal. Anybody wants to know what annuity I was looking at, you can leave it in the comments and ask me, or you can reach out via email, give me a call, whatever you want to do. If you want to go do your own sleuthing on it, you can. So I wanted to find the guaranteed income amount. $57,000 a year was projected based on market returns from the late 90s, but it's not what the company guarantees. Everything was available on the website directly from the company, so it didn't take long to find the minimum guaranteed income was just over $31,000 per year. That is a big difference. The projection was almost double that, which is not surprising because the stock market basically doubled. Like the S&P 500 was just shy of doubling in that 4-year period. That's pretty astronomical. It assumes about a 20% average, right? That's where fees on the variable annuity, I'm not like pulling apart. This had 3.6% fees all in. that's what's going to keep the payment from doubling along with the market. That's first question. Do you think that the stock market's going to double in the next 4 years? I don't know. It's a big bet to take. So he's got to essentially decide whether taking the risk to get $57,000 is worth maybe only receiving $31,000 per year. Now, $31,000 is not out of the question. We've had a flat market basically for 2 years. You add variable annuity fees into that, you're going to have an account value that's going down, so you're not going to go higher than that 31. Then you only got 2 years left, the next 2 years. If you have a substantially negative year, that's going to really drag performance. So there's a huge difference between 4 very robust growth years in the stock market and 3 with one really negative one. But that's what a variable annuity with guaranteed income is supposed to do. It's a direct market investment with a guaranteed income backstop. And the people that I see use them and are happy with them are the ones who are they like the opportunity, the upside, and the fallback position of some guaranteed income. Okay. I don't usually recommend it for those who need the income or those who spend. With these guys, I think that was going to be something like 60% of their assets, maybe more. And in the appropriate situations, even the broker dealers who aggressively sell variable annuities, I think a lot of times they're doing 10 to 20% of some assets to put in there. Again, it's just a market position with, oops, at least we got guaranteed income. A full guarantee is better in this situation. This is where I probably will never sell the annuity because the guy's kind of holding on to that $57,000. But if you go to the database and you look it up, what's the highest guarantee? Same parameters, 4-year deferral, $467,000. It's actually a little over $44,000 per year that you could get just guaranteed. If you figure out what the variable annuity would have to do or what the stock market would have to do to get to $44,000, it'd be somewhere between 10 and 12% per year to achieve $44,000 a year from the variable annuity. That's a pretty solid. If the market were going to go up 10 to 12% every year for the next 4 years, I'd be pretty happy. I think most of you guys would be pretty happy too. Index annuities would do well. The market would do well. And the people that don't care about fixed annuities would be just perfectly happy because they'd get their guaranteed rate. So I'd say that full guarantee, and that's A+. I forget who it was. I'm not even looking at it, but whoever came to the top, it was Prudential or North American or something like that. So pretty nice deal. So is this variable annuity nonsense? Is it a BS annuity illustration? I will never really know for sure because I can't tell how the higher income figure was presented. When the potential buyer came to me, he said, we've got one that's $57,000 per year. It means that, and a lot of people will do this. Their eyes will fixate on the best outcome and they might not hear everything the guy says. So maybe he did present it the right way. I still think it's way too aggressive for the amount of money they have and the risk they'd be taking to try to get that. That's my opinion. There is a good chance it wasn't explained properly. It's just the world we live in. So as advisors, we're actually required to give consumers some options. It's possibly a mistake that was one mistake that was made. Again, I don't know. Maybe he did say, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and the guy picked the highest one. So I'm not making a claim against this agent by any means. Let's assume he did his job and there was just a little misunderstanding of how the information was presented. So either way, you got to make sure you understand all details of a potential contract. You could be missing something very important and you sure don't want to be disappointed because unrealistic numbers didn't work out. You get 4 years down the road. Oh boy, this isn't anywhere close. Scratching my head. What happened? I ran into it. Yeah. While I'm recording this, I ran into another lady called me, put all of her money into one annuity that didn't go anywhere in 2 years, maximized the free withdrawal to pay bills, nothing extravagant. And the guy that sold her was in his 80s. And unfortunately, he passed away, but he's not there to help or answer questions or defend his position. So you have to be able to do it on your own. I'm a lot younger than you guys, so I should be here unless a grizzly bear kills me, which it didn't. It's probably not going to. Anyway, do your research. That's why resources like this are important. And it's obvious because there are a lot of advisors out there copying me and running with my ideas and presenting them as their own, which is fine. Go ahead and use it, guys. The truth will come out at the end. So anyway, so if you're dealing with something similar, feel free to reach out. I'll help figure out whether you're seeing something legitimate or complete nonsense. In this case, more variable annuity nonsense, because very unlikely it's going to happen. It's not something you want to bank in a very important retirement on. Okay. I want to thank you guys for joining me for episode 96 about variable annuities. one more piece of information I can give you. There's a lot out there in the newsletter and the podcast. Go search for it. It's there. Like, subscribe, comment, or otherwise on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. There's comments on the newsletter page on the website as well. If you want to schedule a call with me, top right corner of any page on annuitystraighttalk.com, schedule a call. Or you can give me a ring, 885-121. Rings to my cell phone. It's right here. It's on mute right now. Oh, nobody called me anyway while I was recording this. So anyway, thank you again for joining me for episode 96. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I appreciate the ideas you guys bring. So let me have it. Bring them on, and I'm here to answer questions. You guys have a great day. I'll see you next week, and thank you again. Okay, bye.
You have been listening to Annuity Straight Talk. The preceding information is for informational and educational purposes only and does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. The views expressed by guests on this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Annuity Straight Talk or its partners. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the insurance company.